Hello everyone, myself Deepak, and today I will discuss with you one of the powerful feature of Excel, which is macros. Now, take a scenario: you have this table, okay, in which you need to do certain formatting, like item code should these options should be displayed center line in cost price before the amount. You need to display a dollar sign. Similarly, for sale price before you amount, you need to show a dollar sign, and in column D, you have to display a result that selling price minus cost price. Fine. And there are certain more formattings which you need to perform every time whenever you have adding a new sheet in this workbook. Fine. One way is that either you can do this performance every time you need to work on this workbook. Like for sheet one, you do all those formattings. Then in sheet two, when you're working, again do all those formatting and so on. One way is that. Another way is that you can record a macro. You can take help of basically macros by recording the steps, you can say in normal words. So now how you can do that, let's see. Under your menu tab, you should right now not seeing any developer tab, because by default developer tab is not visible in Excel. So to make it visible, what you have to do, just right click any blank area of your customize ribbon, click on customize the ribbon. Now search here developer tab. You have here, put a check mark here and click OK. You will get developer tab under menu bar. Now click on developer tab, its ribbon will be open. Now you have here one macros, record macros and use relative macros. Fine. Now if your screen is looking something like this, specifically here this use relative is looking like this, that means you're using currently, if you start recording a macro, it will be of absolute type. Now what is absolute? For example, for my current situation, I know that every time column A will be item code which I need to be center line, column B will be for cost price in which I need to show a dollar sign before every amount, column C we have selling price, here also I need to show a dollar sign before the amount. In column D, I need to show selling price minus cost price. Now this is fixed. So now if this is fixed, you can use absolute referencing while recording your macros. Fine. So just I have to click record macro. Give the name of your macro, my first AB macro. If you want to assign any shortcut key, you can assign or you can leave it blank. Say if you want to assign, then you have to keep one thing in mind, that the shortcut key which you're giving should not be predefined. Like control S, you can't give. If you give control S shortcut key to your macro, then what happens? Whenever you press control S, instead of save, your macro will be run. So to be more safer side, I press shift and say Q. Okay, so my shortcut will be control plus shift plus Q. Store this macro, it should be under this workbook. Description you can leave blank. It is just because it is just for a reference purpose, so that anyone else can know that okay, this macro is for this purpose. So if you want to give the description, you can, else leave it blank. Click on OK. Now your macro starts recording basically. See, now basically Excel will record each and every movement of my cursor and my click. So I click here, I put here, so it should be profit slash loss is equal to SP minus CP. I do equal to this minus this. Then I copy this and paste for rest. Then I will do certain formatting. It should be border. This should be center line. B and C, there should be a dollar sign. Fine. This should be background yellow, bold, and red color. I need this kind of formatting each and every time. Fine. Now that's all. Click on developer and click on stop recording. Okay. Now let's do these formatting and or you can say these steps for sheet 2. Now because I used absolute referencing, it will no matter whether I have right now my cursor in H1 or in A1 or even in F14, say for example. But as soon as I run this macro, I click on this macro option tab. Now select my macro name, my first AB macro, and click on run. See what happened. Before running that macro, your cursor was here in F40, but the formatting take place here because while recording this macro, I given this macro as what referencing. I used absolute referencing because of that it was fixed that column A will be center line, column B will have a dollar sign before amount. Similarly, if C and similarly in D, this will be happen. Okay, fine. Now let's see in column in sheet 3. My data is here. My item codes instead of starting from A1, it is starting in H1. My selling price instead of column B, it is in column I. My selling price, sorry, cost price. My selling price instead of having in column C, it is in column J. And now I need selling price minus cost price in column K instead of column D. Now what happened? If I click on column H1 and I click on macros and I run my absolute macro, see what happened. See, the performance was not taken care from here. It is fixed because that was fixed. It should be start from here and end till here. But I need this should be from here. So what to do and how to do? Take an example. I will copy this data. I'll put this data in sheet 4 here. Now let's see. Now previously I record a macro using absolute referencing. This time what I will do, I will record a macro using relative referencing. So how? I click on developer tab. Now my use relative referencing is currently turned off. I will turn on this. Fine. You can see no difference. Okay. Now I click on record macro. I will give my macro name my first relative macro. I give my shortcut key shift plus W and OK. In SP, I need profits and loss is equal to SP minus CP. And this SP minus CP. Copy the formula, paste it here. Then again, I will do all those formattings. Whatever I can give a border. This should be center line. Okay, from here to here. This should be heading should be in bold. Background color yellow. Text color yellow. Sorry, text should be red. B and C column should have a dollar sign, and this to this the heading should be also center line. Fine. Now go to developer tab and stop the recording. Now go to sheet 3. Now I need the formatting should be start from H1. That is because my H1 is in H1 I have item codes. Fine. So I click on here H1. I click on macros. Now instead of AB like my absolute macro, I will select my referencing macro name which is with the name of my first RE macro and click on run. See, got it? So I hope this is clear how to create a macro and how macro will help you, and also like when you create a absolute macro, how it will work, and when you create a relative macro, how it will work. Fine. So if you column, say just a small difference of absolute referencing and relative referencing, that if it is fixed, like in sheet 1 it was fixed, my item code will be in column A, in column B it will be sale price, and column A should be center line, in column B I need to display a dollar sign. It was fixed. That's why I used absolute referencing here before starting recording a macro. When I'm not aware, like in sheet 3, I know now instead of A1 my item code is in H1, instead of column B my cost price in column I. So this is differently changed. So here what I have done, I use relative referencing to give the same formatting which I have given for sheet 4 here in this way. Okay, so that's clear to you. Now you have to keep one more thing in your mind. At the time of saving this file, whenever you want to save this file in which you have created macros, whatever the name you want to give, it is fine. But you have to make sure the extension should be .xlms type, means the type of the file should be Excel macro enabled workbook. Okay, so every workbook which contains a macros, that Excel file should be saved as, if for the extension, as .xlms, or if you want to say as type of the file, it should be Excel macro enabled workbook. Okay, so that's all for today. If you like my video, please like and subscribe my channel. Take care. Goodbye.